So 2018 has recently come to an end, and NBA fans are excited to see what is next to come in the basketball world in the year 2019. But before all that happens, let's take a step back and look back at the action-packed 2019 NBA timeline full of excitement, surprises, and emotion. Okay, let's do this. January 1st, the first game of 2018 takes place. It's the Nets against the Magic, and Brooklyn squeaks out a 3-point victory. Nothing really that important happened. These are both two really bad teams. It just was the first event in the NBA that took place in the year of 2018. January 2nd, after struggling with injuries, Isaiah Thomas plays his first game with the Cleveland Cavaliers and drops 17 points. Despite a strong Cavs debut, him and LeBron would end up not meshing well together, and Thomas would never return to his old Celtic self again for the remainder of his career. January 3rd, after signing with the Rockets 6 days prior, on December 28th, Gerald Green explodes for 27 points. January 7th, LeVar Ball calls out Luke Walton, saying that his players don't want to play for him. Warriors coach Steve Kerr later said that, quote, "I feel horrible for Walton." Walton used to be an assistant coach to Kerr and even won 2 rings as a part of the team's staff. January 16th, the Houston Rockets and Los Angeles Clippers get in a fight that results in Blake Griffin and Trevor Ariza both getting ejected from the game. That same day, another fight breaks out between Aaron Aflalo and Nemanja Bjelica, when Aflalo throws and lands a punch at Bjelica that would result in him being suspended for 2 games. January 22nd, DeMarcus Cousins drops 44 points, grabs 24 rebounds, and dishes out 10 assists in one of the most impressive triple-double performances in NBA history. That same day, John Wall and JJ Barea get in a minor scuffle in the game between the Wizards and Mavericks. Upon being asked about it, Wall calls Barea a midget, and Barea says that Wall's teammates hate him. January 23rd, LeBron James scores his 30,000th point in a game against the Spurs. January 24th, then Knicks coach Jeff Hornacek shoves Joakim Noah after the two get in an argument about playing time. January 26th, Cousins records yet another triple-double, but in the closing seconds of the game, tears his Achilles going for a rebound, putting a short end to Cousins' career year and MVP campaign. January 29th, Blake Griffin is traded away to the Detroit Pistons with Willie Reed and Bryce Johnson for Avery Bradley, Tobias Harris, Boban Marjanovic, and some picks. And in more important news, this guy snuck onto an NBA court in full Pelicans warm-up gear and pretended to be an NBA player the same day of the trade. January 30th, James Harden has a 60-point triple-double against the Orlando Magic. And now we get into February. February 2nd, Steve Kerr complains about the amount of calls James Harden receives in a tweet, accusing the NBA refs of intentionally calling more fouls for higher-scoring games. The tweet was later deleted after just mere minutes of being online after Kerr received backlash from releasing it. February 8th, in the trade of the year, the Cavaliers blow up their entire roster by trading away Iman Shumpert and a second-round pick to the Sacramento Kings and sending away Jay Crowder and Derrick Rose to the Jazz. Dwayne Wade is also shipped off to the Miami Heat for a 2024 second-round pick. That same day, Isaiah Thomas, Channing Frye, and a 2018 first-round pick were sent to Los Angeles in exchange for Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance Jr. From the Kings, they acquired George Hill, and from Utah received sharpshooter Rodney Hood in hopes to satisfy LeBron James, but expressed frustration with the current roster. February 13th, Warriors coach Steve Kerr returned to the news spotlight after allowing his players to coach themselves in a blowout game against the Phoenix Suns. February 15th, Lonzo Ball releases his first album, Born to Ball. February 17th, the dunk contest and three-point contest take place, with Donovan Mitchell and Devin Booker win. February 18th, the NBA tries out a new format of All-Star Game, allowing the most voted player from the East and West, who in this case were LeBron James and Stephen Curry, pick their teams from the other most voted players in the league. Before the All-Star Game takes place, DeMarcus Cousins, Kevin Love, Kristaps Porzingis, and John Wall all get injured, all of which were selected to play for LeBron James' team, leading mediocre players such as Goran Dragic making the final roster. LeBron James drops a 29-point, 10-board, and 8-assist stat line and wins MVP honors as his team defeats Team Stephen by 3, 148-145 was the final score. However, before the game, we get one of the most interesting national anthems ever. February 18th, James Harden absolutely kills Wesley Johnson with this crossover. And now we get into March. Led by Spurs legend Tony Parker, San Antonio holds a player-only meeting where they try to convince Kawhi Leonard to get back on the court after he had been cleared to play by doctors but had been refusing to play, and Leonard would never play for the Spurs again. March 2nd, J.R. Smith throws soup at an assistant coach. 2 days later, images of him modeling for the Nike Supreme collaboration come out as well. March 4th, Kobe Bryant's new movie, Dear Basketball, wins an Academy Award for Best Animated Short Film. March 22nd, in a tweet, Danny Green denies the Spurs team meeting altogether. March 24th, Kyrie Irving injures his left knee, an injury that would force him to miss the entire NBA playoffs of that year. March 28th, LeBron James states in an interview that he is the definite MVP. And on March 31st, a day before April Fool's Day, Anthony Davis pranks the entire NBA world by pretending to shave off his unibrow. April 9th, 10-year G League veteran Andre Ingram gets signed by the Los Angeles Lakers and drops 19 points in his NBA debut. That same day, Allen Crabbe drops a career-high 41 points on his 26th birthday. April 11th, the Philadelphia 76ers blow out the Milwaukee Bucks by 35 in their final game of the season, marking the Sixers' 16th consecutive win. That same day, in the final game of Houston's season, they lose to the Sacramento Kings by 13. Despite this, Houston remains with the #1 record in the league, winning 65 games, 7 better than Golden State, their biggest rival. April 14th, the 2018 NBA playoffs kick off, and the standings look like this. On the first day, the Warriors defeat the Spurs by 30, the Raptors outscore Washington by 8, and the Sixers enjoy a 27-point victory over the Miami Heat. April 21st, in the shortest playoff series of the first round, the Pelicans sweep the Portland Trail Blazers after a defensive-minded backcourt Rajon Rondo and Drew Holiday completely lock up Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. April 27th, the Utah Jazz shock the world by beating the Oklahoma City Thunder in 6 games, with Utah's young leader Donovan Mitchell outplaying the 2017 MVP Russell Westbrook. April 29th, the Cleveland Cavaliers squeak out a tight 4-point victory in Game 7 against Victor Oladipo and the Indiana Pacers. Okay, now on to May. We now enter the second round, where Kyrie Irving, Gordon Hayward-less Celtics beat the 76ers in 5, the Warriors beat the Pelicans in 5, the Rockets beat the Jazz in 5, and Cleveland sweeps the championship favorite Raptors. And Toronto is nicknamed LeBronto due to the Raptors' history of struggling to get past whatever team LeBron is playing for that season in the playoffs, no matter how dominant they are in the regular season. May 7th, David Fizdale is hired as the coach of the New York Knicks. May 11th, after 7 seasons as the head coach and winning 59 games with the Raptors in the 2017-18 NBA season, Dwayne Casey is fired by Toronto, most likely due to the fact that the team yet again disappointed in the playoffs. May 17th, after Jason Kidd is fired, Mike Budenholzer is signed as the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. May 24th, in the closing minutes of Game 3 of the Rockets-Warriors Western Conference Final, with Houston up 3-2, Chris Paul goes down with a tragic hamstring injury. The next game of the series, the Rockets would lose by 29 points, most likely due to the injury. May 27th, LeBron James drops 35 points and 15 rebounds in a close 8-point victory over the Celtics, closing out a 7-game series between the two teams. The fact that the series was so close leads many to believe that a healthy Celtics team would easily overthrow Cleveland in the East. May 28th, the Warriors win Game 7 against the Rockets by 9 and make the NBA Finals for the 4th consecutive season. May 31st. This is the day J.R. Smith lost any kind of positive legacy he had assembled over the course of his 14-year career. In the final seconds of Game 1 of the NBA Finals, Smith grabs a rebound on his own basket and is one dunk away from performing one of the most heroic feats in Finals history. Instead, however, he dribbles the wrong direction and blows the game for the Cavs. We did get this iconic photo from all this, though. June 8th. After the J.R. Smith incident, the remainder of the finals are quite uneventful. The Warriors sweep Cleveland, and in the final 4th game that took place on this day, Golden State blows out Cleveland in a 23-point victory. And with that, the NBA season is over, giving us fans time to reflect upon what has taken place over the course of the past 5 months. Russell Westbrook managed to average yet another triple-double for his 2nd consecutive season. The Toronto Raptors and Houston Rockets emerged as the winningest teams in the East and West, and the Timberwolves snuck into the playoffs for the first time in 13 NBA seasons. What a year! And now, on to the offseason. June 11th, Dwayne Casey is hired by the Detroit Pistons after 2017-18 Pistons coach Stan Van Gundy was released of his head coaching duties a month prior on May 7th. June 14th, Nick Nurse is named head coach of the Toronto Raptors after the firing of Casey took place months prior. June 15th, with tensions rising between Kawhi Leonard and the Spurs organization, Leonard requests a trade. June 21st, 2018 NBA Draft takes place, starting off with center DeAndre Ayton going first overall by the Phoenix Suns. Names such as Marvin Bagley Jr., Luka Doncic, Jaren Jackson, and Trae Young would later go second, third, fourth, and fifth overall during that same draft. Other players, such as Mo Bamba, Colin Sexton, Kevin Knox, Dante DiVincenzo, and Landry Shamet, would later be selected in the draft and would all have fairly successful rookie campaigns as well. June 25th, the NBA award show takes place, with James Harden winning MVP, Ben Simmons winning Rookie of the Year, Rudy Gobert winning Defensive Player of the Year, Raptors coach Dwayne Casey winning Coach of the Year, Victor Oladipo winning Most Improved Player, Lou Williams winning Sixth Man of the Year, and Rockets executive Daryl Morey winning Executive of the Year. June 29th, LeBron James opts out of his contract with the Cavaliers, terrifying Cleveland fans. And now on to July. July 1st, in one of the most eventful days in the entire year, LeBron James signs with the Los Angeles Lakers, suddenly making one of the worst teams in the league of the 2017-18 season championship contenders, while Paul George re-signs with the Oklahoma City Thunder. A day after LeBron joins the Lakers, Cavaliers reserve Cedi Osman writes a long emotional farewell message to the King on Twitter. July 3rd, it is reported that the iconic LeBron James poster in Cleveland will be coming down upon his departure from the Cavaliers. July 4th, Trevor Ariza leaves the Rockets and signs a one-year, $15 million deal with the Phoenix Suns. July 6th, Uncle Drew, a movie featuring NBA greats Kyrie Irving, Shaquille O'Neal, Reggie Miller, Chris Webber, and Nate Robinson released. That same day, DeMarcus Cousins signs a one-year, $5.3 million contract with the Golden State Warriors. That same day, Rajon Rondo signs a one-year, $9 million deal with the Los Angeles Lakers. And that same day, in even more news, the Charlotte Hornets trade away star center Dwight Howard to the Brooklyn Nets, but he would be waived by the franchise immediately. And even more news came out this day when DeAndre Jordan signed a one-year, $22.9 million deal with the Dallas Mavericks. This day definitely had NBA fans going absolutely insane. July 8th, Chris Paul signs a massive 4-year, $160 million maximum contract extension with the Houston Rockets. July 9th, Julius Randle signs a 2-year, $18 million contract with the New Orleans Pelicans, leaving the Lakers. July 10th, JaVale McGee goes from NBA powerhouse to NBA powerhouse, leaving the Golden State Warriors to sign a one-year, $2.4 million deal with the Los Angeles Lakers. July 12th, Dwight Howard signs a 2-year, $11 million contract with the Washington Wizards. July 16th, Isaiah Thomas signs a one-year deal with the Denver Nuggets. July 18th, Kawhi Leonard is traded to the Toronto Raptors alongside Spurs teammate Danny Green and exchanged for DeMar DeRozan and Jakob Poeltl. DeRozan, who had been told by the Raptors that he would never be traded, was infuriated by the deal and would write on Instagram, quote, "Told me one thing and the outcome another. Can't trust him. Ain't no loyalty in the game. Sell you out quick for a little bit of nothing." July 21st, Dwight Howard says he doesn't hang out with any other NBA players. July 25th, a 3-team trade involving the Sixers, Hawks, and Thunder takes place, where Carmelo Anthony ends up in Atlanta and guard Dennis Schroeder is sent off to OKC. 5 days later, Anthony and the Hawks agree to a contract buyout, and Melo becomes a free agent yet again. July 30th, the I Promise Elementary School, built by LeBron James, finishes construction. And now we approach August. On the 13th of August, Carmelo Anthony signs a one-year, $2.4 million deal with the Houston Rockets. Melo would never mesh well with the team, however, and him and Houston would part ways after he played just 10 games for the franchise. On August 21st, it is reported that over the summer, Cedi Osman has been working out with LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Kawhi Leonard, leading many to believe that Osman might be the next great all-time small forward. August 31st, the Rockets trade away Ryan Anderson and DeAndre Melton for Brandon Knight and Marquise Chris. September, rookie sensation Lauri Markkanen breaks his elbow, and NBA legends Ray Allen, Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, and Grant Hill are all inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. September 7th, NBA 2K19 releases, with a cover featuring Giannis Antetokounmpo and another with LeBron James on it. September 16th, Dwayne Wade announces that the 2018-19 NBA season will be his last in the NBA in a YouTube video.
I feel it's right to ask you guys to join me for one last dance, for one last season. This is it.
September 24th, Kawhi Leonard laughs.
I don't even know where you're sitting at. Like.
September 29th, it is released that J.R. Smith has gotten a giant Supreme tattoo, but the NBA forces him to cover it up during games. Lonzo Ball, who got a sleeve tattoo over the offseason that incorporated the Big Baller brand logo, was also forced to cover up that part of his tattoo as well. October 8th, Nike releases a massive LeBron James billboard in Los Angeles. October 13th, Joakim Noah is waived by the New York Knicks. October 14th, Jamal Crawford signs with the Phoenix Suns. October 16th, Gordon Hayward plays his first game for the Celtics after the gruesome foot injury he had suffered a year before in Boston's season opener versus the Cavaliers. He drops 10 points in 25 minutes of play. October 20th, the Houston Rockets and Los Angeles Lakers get in a fight that result in Brandon Ingram, Chris Paul, and Rajon Rondo all getting ejected from the game. In an interview after the game, Paul accused Rondo of spitting at him. October 23rd, in Detroit's third game of the season, Blake Griffin drops 50 in a win against the 76ers. October 27th, the Cavaliers fire head coach Tyronn Lue after they start off the season with a terrible 0-6 record. October 29th, Klay Thompson beats his teammate Steph Curry's record of 13 three-pointers made in a game, making 14 versus the Bulls in an incredible 52-point performance. October 30th, Derrick Rose drops a career-high 50 points and cries after the game. November 1st, J.R. Smith says he doesn't want to play for the Cavaliers anymore. November 6th, Tyson Chandler signs with the Los Angeles Lakers, and in his first ever game with the franchise, he blocks a buzzer-beating finger roll from Trae Young to win the game. November 9th, Stephen A. Smith accuses Wizards star John Wall of frequently attending Rose Bar, the most popular nightclub in D.C. Wall would later admit to these accusations being true in an Instagram video, but trying to justify it by claiming that he should be relaxing after practice is over. Since then, and also due to Washington's struggles, Wall has been slammed for being lazy and for stopping trying after he received his 4-year, $170 million contract after his amazing 2016 through 2017 NBA season. November 12th. In the closing seconds of a game versus the Clippers, Draymond Green refuses to pass the ball to Kevin Durant for the game-winning shot, starting a harsh verbal exchange between the two that convinced many that next offseason, Durant would be leaving the Golden State Warriors in free agency. This was also the day that Jimmy Butler finally leaves the Minnesota Timberwolves after he accused Karl-Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins, the young core of this franchise, of both being soft and lazy. He was shipped off to Philadelphia alongside Justin Patton in exchange for Dario Saric, Robert Covington, Jared Bayless, and a 2022 second-round draft pick. Even more action takes place on this day, when Nets star Caris LeVert goes down with a gruesome right leg injury that would keep him out for the next few months. November 16th, Markelle Fultz reveals his new, strange free throw routine in a game against the Miami Heat that would later be mocked and imitated by football star Amari Cooper. November 17th, Kemba Walker scores 60 points against the 76ers and follows up this performance by dropping 43 points the next game. November 18th, LeBron James drops 51 against the Miami Heat, his former team. It would be the final matchup between longtime friends LeBron James and Dwayne Wade before Wade will retire. November 23rd, a transgender man claims that Dwight Howard used to be his boyfriend, but there's no proof. November 25th, longtime Spurs coach Greg Popovich claims that Kawhi Leonard was, quote, never a leader for San Antonio. November 28th, Kyle Korver is shipped off to the Jazz in exchange for Alec Burks. And now we enter December. December 1st, Mario Hezonja dunks and then steps over Giannis Antetokounmpo in a meeting between the Knicks and Bucks. The highlight would be his only point of the game. After the contest, Giannis threatened to punch Hezonja if it ever happened again, but later apologized for saying this. The Knicks and Bucks would meet again on December 25th, Christmas Day, and December 27th, but Hezonja received no playing time during these two games. December 3rd, Bulls coach Fred Hoiberg is fired and replaced by Jim Boylen. The Bulls lose by a franchise record 56 points against the Boston Celtics in Boylen's first game coaching the team. After the loss, Chicago holds a player-only meeting and almost skips practice before Lauri Markkanen and Robin Lopez convince the team to do otherwise and attend practice. December 4th, Joakim Noah signs for the Memphis Grizzlies. One day later, he makes his Grizzlies debut off the bench in a 13-point victory against the Clippers. That same day, Markelle Fultz's strained shoulder injury that had been affecting his jump shot was diagnosed as thoracic outlet syndrome, also known as TOS. December 7th, Matthew Dellavedova and John Henson are traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers for George Hill. December 8th. Giannis Antetokounmpo says that he avoids working out with any NBA players other than his own teammates, saying that he doesn't, quote, buddy with other players. December 12th. LeBron James is quoted saying that playing with Anthony Davis would be amazing, making many to believe that Davis will join the Lakers in free agency once his contract with the Pelicans is up. December 17th. Kobe Bryant gets both his number 8 and 24 Lakers jerseys retired by the Los Angeles Lakers. December 24th. Austin Rivers is traded to the Houston Rockets in exchange for Trevor Ariza, who was sent to the Washington Wizards. December 25th. The Lakers blow out the Warriors by 26 points on Christmas Day, but LeBron James strains his groin midway through the second quarter of the game, his first major injury of his career. The Lakers would go 0-2 for the remainder of the year without LeBron in the starting lineup. December 27th, Andrew Wiggins forgets his jersey and almost doesn't start because of it. December 28th, Blake Griffin whips out an iPad in the middle of a game against the Indiana Pacers to argue a call made from the referees. December 29th, and finally, to cap off the year of 2018, we received some sad news after hearing that John Wall has suffered a left heel injury that would leave him out for the remainder of the season. And that's the full recap of this year of 2018. We end things off smack in the middle of a thrilling NBA season that has provided us with an abundance of surprises and entertainment. So far this season, we've seen Tobias Harris and the Clippers have one of the greatest years in the team's history, bouncing back from losing their old big three. The depth of the Denver Nuggets has led them to becoming the top team in the West with a better record than the Warriors. The Spurs are looking to miss the playoffs for the first time in 20 years, and Paul George is having a career year, managing to bounce back from one of the most gruesome injuries in NBA history, and coming back even better than before. That was definitely a lot to cover. So much can happen in just 365 days. And with that, we're going to conclude the video. I hope you guys learned something about NBA basketball in 2018 and enjoy this entire production. We can only hope for another year as spectacular in 2019. Goodbye.
I'ma show them all that I can rock the nation. Y'all know I see it before it happen. Do it big, don't break a sweat. Pulling up on them from half court. Wrist hanging nothing but the net. This a heat check. Perfectly ultimate.